Good afternoon. Welcome to the Kansan Sports YouTube channel. I'm Ben Hook, proud Vermont resident, student at the University of Kansas, enthusiast for many things, including the best sporting games of 2019, which I am here to draft with some esteemed fellow experts. Returning to the show, we have Eric Lucio of Hayes, Kansas, Dallas, Texas, and other places. Eric, how are you? And what were you thinking about in sports in 2019? What do you remember?
Well, first of all, I'm good, but as a diehard Ohio State fan, there's two things that come to mind in 2019, and that's beating the brakes off Michigan and then getting cheated by the refs against Clemson. So, yeah, that's about it.
Next up, a famous Ottawan, but not Shemi Ojale or Justin Trudeau. It is Landon Jones, a sophomore here at Kansas. Landon, what was going on with you in 2019?
Well, I mean, it was a great time to be alive. You're watching some great sporting events. You had great movies like going to watch Avengers Endgame in the theaters right after watching some great NBA playoff games. So it's just brings back a lot of great sports memories all in general.
Mm-hmm. And new to the draft, straight out of Tulsa, he's bigger than just his initials. It's Xander Loosevelt. Xander, welcome to the show. Xander, what was going on with you in 2019?
2019 was a Patriots Super Bowl, so that was great. That was the Anthony Davis trade to the Lakers. I actually came out of the theaters from Avengers Endgame to find out that he had been traded when I watched that. So, weird year because it was right before COVID hit. So, yeah, what a night, right?
You forgot to mention losing to Ohio State, bro.
That didn't happen. Nope.
He's in denial. 2019 was a great year for me. So running down our list of the greatest games, we're gonna have our categories here. So we have a championship game. This has to be the final game in a specific competition season for the ultimate championship. A game that went to either overtime or extra innings or had some sort of extension. A regular season game, that's pretty self-explanatory. A game with a true walk-off score or game winner, something that truly ended the game. An upset, I believe it was at least a plus 250 favorite in odds. A non-game sporting event, so that can be a race, that can be a fight, that can be a round of golf for something like that. And then, of course, as a classic, we have a wild card. So to get our pick order, we are going to do a name. We're going to do a name spin. This is going to be a reverse order spin. So whoever is going to be picked first will be picking fourth in this, and whoever is last on the wheel will get the first overall pick. All right, picking fourth. Landon Jones.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
You get the turn, though. You get the turn. So we were talking earlier, though. This is maybe a bit of a top-heavy draft. So Eric gets the third pick. Kind of interesting spot. Yeah, you don't get the full turn, and you don't get a top two pick. And so,
I really don't like that.
Second and first picks. Xander will get the second pick, and I promise I did not rig this. I will get the first pick. All right. So, on the board is me, and I really think this was not my favorite game of the year, I will just say. But I think strategically, there's really nothing I could take here that would be as important. It was a very important moment, even if it wasn't like the most dramatic and the greatest thing. I will be taking the final round of the 2019 Masters. Tiger Woods' return to glory, his first time back.
That was going to be my
Sam.
Oh God.
Was this the one?
Yes.
The 101 on everyone's boards.
Yes.
It's just the most difficult category. So
I'm now very interested. Not like the most dramatic round, but definitely a really, really crazy thing to watch. I don't know if I actually watched this live, but I was definitely like following along. I think I turned on CBS to see like the final putt. Um, yeah, this was really cool. So I'll be taking Masters. Xander Lewisfeld, over to you for the second pick.
All right. There was a couple different ways I thought I could go with this pick, but I think I have to go with one of the best game winners I've ever witnessed live, and I'm going with the Kawhi shot against the 76ers, Game 7. Doesn't get more clutch than that. One of the best moments in sports history. That's going to be my one right there.
The only Game 7 buzzer beater in NBA history. Kind of a weird game. I remember watching this. This was not a very like aesthetically pleasing game. If I remember right, it was like the Serge Ibaka legacy game. So you'll be taking that in game winner?
Yes.
Over to you, Eric Lucio, with the third pick.
I got to think about this for a second. This is a big decision. Now,
All right.
I want to preface that I don't think that this is honestly anywhere near what I would say is the next best pick overall, but because we talked about how important the non-game sporting event is, I'm going to go with Andy Ruiz Jr. over Anthony Joshua to claim the heavyweight title. Obviously that could have gone in the upset category. It was a major upset, late replacement. In the Garden, give me Andy Ruiz Jr. over Anthony Joshua.
That's a real life sports movie story. I mean, how about that? Also just like that is the magic of open weight heavyweight boxing, where you can get a dude built like Andy Ruiz and a dude built like Anthony Joshua, and just like speed of the hands, all that stuff. I remember illegally streaming that fight. It cut off a couple of times, but yeah, a really, really good one.
And shout out Andy Ruiz Jr., first Mexican heavyweight champ.
Yeah, true.
True. On. All
right. Yeah, and now Anthony Joshua at least now has more famous that he KO'd Jake Paul.
Oh, I'm going to be exactly like Ben and Eric here. I feel like we have to, with that first pick, you've got to take that non-game sporting event. I was upset that I didn't get the Masters, but I can live with that because luckily that year we had a great Wimbledon men's singles final between Roger Federer and Djokovic that was 5 hours long, a 5 hour long men's final. That was I'm pretty sure that's still the longest final to this day. So I'm going to take that and hold that at my first round pick here.
Yeah. I liked Federer as a kid. I thought he was kind of cool. He was kind of like Tom Brady, kind of boring, but like really got the job done. And so he was the oldest guy to ever make a Wimbledon final. He had 3 match points on his serve and he blew all 3 of them to lose the final. A real heartbreaker. Okay. So Landon, what's your second pick on this turn?
My second pick, I'm going to head over to the overtime category, and I'm going to take the 2019 AFC Championship with the Tom Brady masterclass versus the Chiefs. At the time, I was rooting for the Chiefs, I can't lie, but now looking back on it, it took away a chance for another Chiefs Super Bowl that would have tormented me living in Kansas as a non-Chiefs fan, so still glad that happened.
Yeah. I mean, this was a real classic. Xander, do you have any words on this?
I can't believe Landon took this game from 2 Patriots fans, but it's really funny looking back now that people are like, oh, thank goodness the Chiefs lost, because nobody wanted to see another Patriots win at the time. It was the worst thing that could have happened for a lot of sports fans. And now looking back at it, it's like, well, thank God Brady got one more and didn't give another one to Mahomes. So
yeah, no, I also think it's good. Like I don't think this Super Bowl is going to get off the board.
Not a chance.
Yeah. So the fact that there was at least one all-timer playoff game in that Super Bowl run was pretty sick. But yeah, and just a great moment. That Mahomes drive to tie the game at the end of the game was one of the first times where you just sort of sat up in your chair. You're like, this is the dude. This is the guy. So yeah, I mean, that was an incredible game. Back to you, Eric. Going around.
So I think the mistake I made in my last draft was going with things that I thought were cool over things that a lot of other people would think are really cool. And while this was still a great event, I think now I need to go for the overall things. And with the draft position that I have, I am going to take the NCAA championship, Virginia over Texas Tech in overtime with the clutch DeAndre Hunter three. The year right after losing to the 16 seed, it was a great moment. So
should have lost in the semifinals.
Yeah.
But yeah, an all-time classic game. One of the craziest brain farts ever to help in the paint when you're up 3. Some real. I remember watching this game back on YouTube, maybe during COVID, and some real like where are they now guys. You ever wonder what David Moretti's up to? Because I do.
Where's Kyle Guy right now?
Yeah. Oh, he's in. I saw him on Instagram recently, for whatever reason. I think he plays for Panathinaikos or something. The green Greek team that has like some of the crazy fans. Talking about like EuroLeague venues. So good for him. Happy to see him. I think he was on the Kings once. Back to you, Xander Loosevelt.
Okay, I'm going to go in the regular season category, and I'm going to take one of the best college football games I ever watched. That year was LSU versus Alabama. Unreal amount of pro talent on that field, back and forth the whole way. And that was kind of LSU's coming out party in a way before they went on the dominant run in the playoffs.
Yeah. This game is nuts. Just looking through the rosters of this game, I believe the wide receiver room, the top 3 wide receivers on each team, it's like Jerry Jeudy, Devontae Smith, and somebody who should probably not be named on Alabama, and then Terrace Marshall, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase on that LSU team.
It's ridiculous.
This thing was nuts. Just a total classic. One of the great, like, this is why we love college football games. And honestly, LSU nearly blew that game. I think it's kind of slept on. This is a real classic. Okay, now it's over to me. And I'm not 100% sure what my... Okay, actually, no, I am sure of my first pick, which I'm going to be taking Game 7 of the 2019 World Series and Championship. Nationals over the Astros. Howie Kendrick with the 7th inning go-ahead shot off the foul pole. A victory that's like really, really important in retrospect, because if the Astros had won that World Series and then the sign stealing thing had come open and blown that whole thing apart, I think it would have had a huge damage to the sport, like in the long term. So I think it's a kind of underrated moment, and yeah, a true classic. The only ever Game 7 series in which the road team won all 7 games. And then in the other one, I have a lot to think through, but I'm going to take the other game, the other series winning buzzer beater this year, and I'll be taking Blazers versus Thunder Game 5 of the first round, which is not an incredible game and not an incredible series, but perhaps the most audacious non-Steph Curry shot in NBA history. To have a tie game with a very good perimeter defender on you and take a 39-footer. That's pretty baller. So yeah, I'll take that.
Wasn't a good shot though, just for the record.
Bad shot. No, I mean genuinely it is. Like if they lose that game in overtime, I think the next day of First Take is Damian Lillard getting flamed for that.
I'm sure he was going to get flamed, but they were going to win that series anyway.
Yeah,
weren't they
I think
up like 3-1 or 3-0 or something? Yeah, okay.
Come to think of it, that's an all-time aura gamble taking a shot like that.
Yeah, I mean it's like there's like 95 timelines where that thing just like hard bricks off the rim, and you just look like a total idiot.
I also think it's important to note that like that playoff series specifically like kind of started the decline for Russell Westbrook's career.
Yeah. Well, it was the moment where it was like that season was where it was clear that him and Paul George couldn't function together. And when it became clear that like if he can't work with Paul George, I'm not sure there's like a more malleable star in the league to work off of. that kind of made him like a really like damaged asset, I feel like. Xander Loosfeld, over to you.
Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna continue taking new categories. I'm gonna move to the upset category. And you said it had to be at least plus 250. I'll give you plus 2,500. We got Stephen F. Austin beating Duke in Cameron Indoor Arena.
I had that one. Yeah.
I had this on the board as well.
Was also a game winner too. Also would have counted as a buzzer beater.
Yeah,
but we'll
true.
take
A length of the court run into a layup.
And regular season game.
That one. This was a multi-category all-star.
Mhm.
Eric Collins was on commentary for this game, and he really went for it.
I still can't believe Duke fumbled the ball like that, like in the way, like at the end, the last 10 seconds.
I mean, it's just like a truly unbelievable, and the like conscience of the guy to not like take a half court heave, but know you have the time to get to the basket and lay that up. Incredibly impressive.
And some of the best poise I've seen.
Yeah, mid-major player too on the road.
Yeah, I feel like that Stephen F. Austin team was like pretty good and would have been like an end. You're taking that an upset.
Yeah, upset.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna continue my strategy of doing the categories that I think I feel the least confident in, starting with that. And so for upset, I think I'm gonna take Evansville over Kentucky. Yeah, I mean I don't know the direct odds, but when I looked up, it said plus 4,000. So if we're going for that, then I mean absolutely unbelievable.
I think the stealthy part of this is that Evansville team was like terrible. Like Stephen F. Austin, I think were like the favorites to win the Southland when the tournament got canceled. Evansville went 0-18 in conference play, and they beat Kentucky at Kentucky.
Yeah. No, I mean, first time, I mean, obviously their first time beating a number one, doing it on a stage like that, like it was crazy.
Yeah, if I remember right, Evansville I think won like 4 games the rest of the year. If there is such thing as a Q5 loss, I think that is what they should add as just the Evansville Kentucky loss. Over to you, Landon.
Oh, I feel like this is a category you need to get at least a decent pick in, and I feel like this could be the last best pick for this category. I'm going to take the 2019 NBA Finals Game 6. You know, I love that Raptors team so much. I thought it was a lot of fun. So, great game. Unfortunately, we saw, the Klay Thompson injury happen in that game. We had Draymond, I believe, was suspended for that game. Isn't that correct? He had a double technical, I think, in Game 5. And so he wasn't playing that game. Yeah. And so, definitely a huge game and a great moment for the country of Canada.
Yeah, a pretty incredible one. One of maybe the greatest moment of Fred VanVleet's career. He was like incredible down the stretch in that game. Kawhi, obviously brilliant. I specifically remember that game like false ending and then like having like 0.2 seconds put on the clock to celebrate or something like that. I don't even fully remember, but yeah, what a classic. The first NBA Finals to not feature LeBron since 2010, I believe.
Second pick, I think I'm going to go with regular season game here. And this is not like a game that people most think about, but for some reason, this has always lived in my head. Like, this is one of my favorite shots in NBA history. Could go in the game winner. Give me the Heat versus the Warriors in 2019 regular season. Dwayne Wade with one of the craziest buzzer beaters you will ever see.
Great pull.
That's a great, yeah.
I had that on my the bank. It's so iconic.
Yeah.
One-legged banks it in on the scorer's table. The Heat commentator with one of the great kind of oral lobs in NBA history with "This is his city."
Yeah, just insane.
He did leave to go to Chicago and Cleveland between those years. But yeah, this was a super tough play. Those Heat jerseys as well. All-time classics.
Man, love them.
Quadruple platinum. Yeah, this is a stealthy good one. This was not on my board, but a super iconic game, I feel like.
I think for my I still have that. My regular season game, I'm gonna go with the Niners over the Seahawks in the Week 17, the Dre Greenlaw goal line stop to give the Niners the NFC West. It was an all-time classic regular season game, so I'm definitely gonna go there. Both the games that they played that year were
Yeah,
phenomenal.
I was the week 9 game, I think, is a even more dramatic game. I believe were the Seahawks undefeated going into that, or one of the teams was undefeated. And
I
just a
think the
total
49ers were.
Niners,
Niners
yeah.
were, a
Yeah.
total classic, that one. But yeah, both those games absolutely rocked. NFC West, man, they keep putting up great games. Every team in that division can.
I'm gonna go to overtime. I'm gonna say the quadruple overtime game between the Trailblazers and I think it was the Nuggets. That
Yep.
Rodney Hood legacy game, CJ McCollum legacy game. I remember being in my room watching that one. I don't even know how late it was. I was on the West Coast, so it wasn't as late, but it just
This game
wouldn't
finished
end.
at
And I thought we were
3:30
genuinely gonna get like 5, 6 overtimes. It was ridiculous.
I went to bed after the second overtime because it was genuinely 2 in the morning. Like this game I think finished 3:15, 3:30 East Coast time. NBA playoffs are a nightmare. But that was really something special. Watching the highlights in the morning, that was tough. I feel like I don't know what site. I was following a bunch of sites at that point, but maybe like SB Nation had like a crazy good article on that game. That game rocked. Okay, over to me. I have upset regular season and wild card still on the board. And overtime. In overtime, I'm going to take a game that I vividly remember, and that is going to be Virginia versus Purdue in the NCAA tournament Elite Eight.
Great pick.
The Carson Edwards hair on fire scorcher. I think he had 42 this game. Notably, was not known as a shooter entering the NCAA tournament, and then just went absolutely ballistic from three. Kihei Clark was perhaps the smartest pass anyone's thrown in an NCAA game. Mamadi Diakite was one of the most underrated, difficult shots I've ever seen. A floater with no time on the clock. Terrifying. Yeah, this game rocked.
Dude, 13-year-old me thought Carson Edwards was like the next coming of Curry. Like I was like, this is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen.
The Celtics picked him up, I think, as a UDFA or as a second round pick, and I was the most excited I'd ever been. Like I
remember,
I was like, this is the guy.
I was super into card collecting then, and I remember I bought all stock into Carson Edwards. I had so many rookie cards of him, and then it just didn't matter.
Over to regular season, in which I will be taking one of the real stealth classics and a real what could have been game because it just reminds you of it. I'll be taking Kansas versus Dayton in the Maui Championship or Maui Invitational Championship game. That 2019-2020 KU team, obviously legendary. Many would say they would lose the national championship game to Michigan if the tournament was played. Some might even say they would win. This game rocked. Obi Toppin, one of the most fun college players of all time. Udoka Azubuike, also a pretty fun college player. This game was really cool in Lahaina Civic Center during Feast Week. Yeah, hard to beat.
God, I have 2 picks that I'm begging that I can get both of them, but I'm not sure if I will.
Well, Xander might take one of them right here. Xander, over to you.
In the wild card, I'm gonna expand my palette here. I'm gonna go with a soccer game. Manchester City versus Tottenham in the Champions League quarterfinals.
This game traumatized me. It was so bad.
Florida, I'll be honest, didn't watch, don't know anything about it, but
so to fill in the lore for this, Manchester City was incredible this year. They won the Premier League. They finished with the second most points in history. The team they beat finished with the third most points in history. They were playing a Tottenham team that was not very good. They scored the winning goal with 94 minutes on the clock, and then it got VAR reviewed, taken off the board. And they basically didn't play after that. It was, I think I was in transit during this game, and I got off of a bus. I got it on my phone, and I went absolutely nuts when they scored. And then we had to go somewhere else. I'm glowing with joy, and then I see that it got reviewed and taken off with VAR, and I just had a sinking feeling in my stomach for the next 4 hours. It was really not great, but yeah, this game rocked. Over to you, Eric. Eric, what are you still looking to take?
Okay, well, my two that I wanted to take are still there, and I think I have to go with this one. Both are iconic moments, but I think I think I have to. Give me the Iron Bowl for my wild card. 48-45. I mean, a college football rivalry when both teams are good, number 5 versus number 15. It doesn't get much better than that.
Did you lose the wild card? Sorry.
Yeah, in wild card, because I don't think it would fit anything else. I mean,
it
but I
yeah.
have to get that game on here.
Maybe the best Nick Saban losing his mind on the sideline.
Choking that field goal after the 12-man penalty is ridiculous.
The 12-man penalty, yeah, the punt penalty is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's just it's something that you would never think Bama would fall for, and they do. And the game just is so good. So yeah, that rocks. Landon, over to you.
I'm going to go in the upset category here, and I'm going to take South Carolina versus Georgia, where South Carolina was a 24.5-point underdog, and they took down number 3 Georgia. Just a huge college football upset, shocked everyone in the all SEC nation. So I feel like that's probably one of the best upsets I can still grab here at this moment.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Rexbeck Rod missing 2 kicks. I believe, did he miss both field goals in overtime or just one? He missed 2 kicks. He might have missed one at the end of regulation. But yeah, an absolutely insane game. That South Carolina team was terrible.
The Jake Fromm disaster class.
Yeah, that I think Georgia outgained them by 300 yards. South Carolina did not play well. Yeah, fun fact, I was at Will Muschamp's last ever game as the South Carolina head coach, watching them just get slaughtered by Clemson.
So I was debating between, I already took a big NFL game for a game winner, so I kind of want to switch it up here, and I'm going to go with game winner. I'm going to go Game 6 of the ALCS, the iconic Jose Altuve walk-off homer that every time I see that homer, I always remember looking at Aroldis' face because he has that smile on his face. I think he knew something was up because, I mean, he was pitching his heart out in that run and he gives up that game winner. It almost seemed like he knew something was up.
Now, what I'll say is that this might be true, but Aroldis Chapman is not a good clutch closer.
That is true.
He tried his absolute hardest to blow Game 7 of the World Series for the Cubs.
Yeah, he did.
And bailed. So, this may come up when the Red Sox are in the playoffs this year. I actually am kind of certain it will. But yeah, what an incredible game. The stealth moment of the game is DJ LeMahieu, who goes completely forgotten to history, having an unbelievable at-bat and clutch homer to take that to tie the game and force the walk-off. But yeah, an incredible game. Okay, back to you, Eric, with just 2 picks left.
My other pick made it to me, and I couldn't be happier. For my game winner, I'm going to go with the it was a regular season game, I believe, but the Bryce Harper grand slam over the Cubs with 2 outs remaining heading into the 9th.
To quote Charles Barkley here, I'm kind of juggling 2 balls, and I'm not sure which one to pick for the championship one. And I'm between either taking the Women's World Cup final that year for American pride, or going with the Stanley Cup Finals Game 7 where the St. Louis Blues took home their first one. The problem is neither of these games were necessarily great on their own, but they were just cool.
Yeah.
In, the fact that one was America and one was the first time a team had won the Stanley Cup in their like
Mhm.
team's history. So I think I'm gonna go with the Women's World Cup.
Stealth
I
pick
think
to this that I'm gonna bring up at the end of the game that I just don't think is a win. It will win me the draft, but it is the best championship game on here.
I'm gonna go with the Women's World Cup for mine. I'm gonna
Okay,
take the Women's World Cup final. That's what I'm gotta represent Team USA somehow on here.
come on. Perhaps one of our best national teams.
Oh, for sure. I watched that one with my grandma. I remember that one
Yeah,
vividly.
this one's tough. 2-0. Megan Rapinoe and Rose Lavelle, I believe. Um, wasn't like a particularly dramatic tournament for the U.S. I would say they kind of
No,
just
definitely not.
steamrolled the whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were really, really good, and they showed it. Okay, over to me, where I am closing out my draft and then having to sit here and hope that I don't get completely taken over. All right, I have to do an upset and then a wild card pick, and my upset bank is looking real thin. Uh, but I guess there is one here that I do think, because it's a 7-game series, it feels like less of an upset. But I'll take game one, I guess, because that's the one I have to take, of Blue Jackets versus Lightning in the playoffs. This Lightning team was unbelievable. They won 62 games. They set a zillion records, and then they got swept. And the final 3 games were not competitive at all. But they were up 3-0 in this first game, and they blew that lead within a period, and it was really all downhill from there. One of the first great Sergei Bobrovsky playoff performances, and really something I did not think the Lightning would ever come back from. And then they came back and won 2 cups the next 2 years. So good for them. But yeah, this game rocked.
3-0 leads were not safe in that playoffs. The Knights blew a 3-0 lead in Game 7 in the third period to lose to the Sharks that year too.
This was the runner-up in overtime. That was one of the craziest games I've ever watched.
That one hurt.
Probably shouldn't have been a major penalty. Okay, and now to my wild card. I am going to take there's some really good things on this list. But I think there's really one game that has spoken to my soul more than anything else. So I have 2 words for you guys, or 3 words, I guess. The Piss Miss. Um, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State in the Egg Bowl. Neither of these teams were good at all, but it has one of the great endings ever, as an Ole Miss wide receiver caught the game tying touchdown with only a few seconds left, then decided for whatever reason to celebrate by imitating a dog urinating, at which point he received a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct, following which Ole Miss missed the extra point and lost.
Unbelievable.
Maybe the most
I forgot that was in 2019.
football game of all time. A true regional rivalry classic. Again, both these teams were not very good. This was pre-Mike Leach, Mississippi State, I believe. But yeah, this game's a real classic. I remember. I'm not even sure I watched this, but I woke up and I spent 15 minutes just howling in laughter. So yeah, a real classic.
Did Ole Miss miss a bowl game because of that?
Oh, I think they did actually. Yeah, I think that makes sense.
I feel like they were 5 and 6, and that was the one they needed.
Yeah, and I feel like the receiver was not a bad receiver either. But yeah, just an all-time brain fart. One of my favorite YouTube videos as well is for whatever reason there's a German commentary of that live, and the German guys go absolutely ballistic when they miss the extra point. So yeah, that's it, and that'll close my draft. Xander,
sure AJ Niergarter would have loved that.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I may be stretching the definition of sport here, so this may get vetoed. But in 2019, there was an 8-way tie for the Spelling Bee Championship.
Oh my God.
Can we count that as a sport? Are we count?
Yeah, that was on my board.
ESPN.
Right,
it's on ESPN.
That was on my board.
That's unbelievable.
That's wow.
I want that one then. If that one counts, give me the 8-way tie for the Spelling Bee Championship.
Yeah, I'm so down for this. That was 5th on my board because I saw it in some recap of sports that year, and I was like,
same.
This is so baller. Okay, Eric Lucio, over to you to close your draft.
Okay. Well, I kind of have two different games that I'm going here, and the one that I was thinking about doing was the Illinois over Michigan State comeback. They had a 28-3 overtime comeback, but I'm not gonna choose that one, and I'm gonna take the Astros over the Yankees in Game 2 of the ALCS. 11 innings, Judge ties it, but Correa hits a walk-off home run.
That's a really great game. That
Verlander versus Paxton.
I think this was on as I was like in New York City and just like watching people as a Red Sox fan, the Schadenfreude of watching people like deflate as this happened was pretty sick. Okay,
Landon, with your
over
last pick,
to
will you take Clemson versus Ohio State to make Eric upset?
No, I will
over to you,
not.
Lennon Jones.
Bad game.
2019 was such just a great year. There were so many games that, like, I'm honestly like even looking at my list, I'm happy with my list, but there were some games that I missed, like that I wish I could have taken. Like for instance, Jordan Poole's buzzer beater. That was a great game. Or if you're obviously first KU fans, if you remember the whole Texas Tech field goal mishap and that happening. This is all crazy, but this game that I'm about to choose right here is just a game that as a sports fan, I feel like this is like a top three, the most fun I've had watching a game. So give me UCF versus Duke in the round of 32 in the
That's
NCAA
great.
tournament. That
Great
game was
pick.
just incredible. Just
Taco.
incredible basketball.
Zion versus Taco.
That's
Yeah.
a great game. I didn't even think of that. That's awesome. That's a great pick.
I also thought about the Duke comeback that year against Louisville, but I don't like Duke, so I like to see a game where they were really on the ropes and and they had to fight fully. But I don't know,
Yeah.
that game, the UCF Duke game was just incredible.
The Zion and one that
Oh
gave
my
him the lead is
gosh,
one of the most absurd shots I've ever seen someone make. Like
Taco Fall fouling out.
the coordination of that.
Oh.
I can't believe UCF failed to win that game. Yeah, I really didn't like Duke that year. I was kind of over them. I thought the whole like exercise of treating the NCAA tournament as like a coronation exercise was dumb. So yeah, I'm really happy that UCF won that game. All right, that will do it for our draft. Let's go through the picks really quickly. For me in championship, I took Game 7 of the World Series in overtime, Purdue versus Virginia in the Elite Eight. In regular season, the Maui Invitational Championship game. In game winner, Blazers versus Thunder, Game 5. An upset, Game 1 of Columbus versus Tampa in the NHL playoffs first round. In non-game sporting event, the final round of the Masters. In wild card, Ole Miss versus Mississippi State in football. Xander took the Women's World Cup final. Nuggets Blazers 4 overtimes. LSU versus Alabama. Raptors Sixers Game 7. Stephen F. Austin versus Duke. The Scripps National Spelling Bee. And Manchester City Tottenham 4-3. Eric took the men's national tournament final for championship game. Astros Yankees Game 2. Seahawks Niners Week 17. Cubs versus Phillies. I'll get the date for that. Evansville versus Kentucky. Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua. And the Iron Bowl. And Landon had NBA Finals Game 6, the 2019 AFC Championship game, Heat versus Warriors, Game 6 of the ALCS, South Carolina versus Georgia, the men's final of Wimbledon, and UCF versus Duke. All right, guys, going through your boards, were there any games you didn't pick or wish you picked or things that were tough to cut?
Low-key, I'm much happier with my list than I was last time. I really, really wanted the Tiger Masters, but there was just no way I could have gotten that.
Yeah, I think
that was
that
first
was
pick.
the consensus first pick.
I'm not mad.
The
That was
one
fun.
for me that I just couldn't justify taking, but the 2019 Cricket World Cup final is considered one of the greatest cricket games of all time. It is the only time a cricket final has ever gone to cricket overtime, which it basically never goes to because it needs the match to finish completely tied. And then that overtime also went to overtime. And in one of the greatest, like, what many would call indignities in cricket history, they declined to play a second overtime and they just went to a tiebreaker instead.
Interesting.
Which was crazy. So that was one. A couple of UFC fights, the 2019 US Open, where KU alum Gary Woodland won at Pebble Beach. And yeah, not a ton else. I feel pretty decent. San Jose versus Vegas, which Xander talked about. The NFC Championship game, which I'm sure still haunts Drew Collings. Oh, and this was not a very good game, but Louisville versus Vanderbilt in the College World Series was one of the great John Boy Media videos of the Louisville pitcher talking the most smack any pitcher has talked and then losing. And then taking his hat off to reveal one of the worst haircuts you'll ever see. I hope in the final video we can get a picture of that because that's a really funny haircut. But yeah, that'll do it for the draft. That'll probably be the last video draft we'll do. Hopefully, when we're back live in person at KU, we'll do a couple more of these because there's some really, really great years to do drafts of. We've already talked about doing 2020, 2016. I think 2011 could be really fun. So lots of good stuff still available. This has been a really great time. Shout out to these three for coming and doing this draft. And we will see you next time, wherever you're getting this.